China's food security concerns loom large. Grain companies are warning of sharp rises in prices. And while Chinese officials are touting record high output, they are also ramping up the imports of grain.
Chinese grain companies are warning customers that grain prices will continue to soar. That's due to a reduction of grain output this year. That's according to online posts showing written notice from companies located in China's major agricultural provinces. A grain company in Jiangxi province wrote that the epidemic and the heavy rainfall during the harvesting season seriously affected production. It says overall rice production dropped about 30% compared to previous years. The notice adds that the price of the rice is expecting to rise by up to $75 per ton. A rice company in Hunan says this year's grain harvest reduction was nationwide, and now the rice market competition is vicious. Therefore, the price of rice will be reset every time a truck comes in to deliver rice. A grain company in Hubei also announced a rise in the grain price and said that more rises are to come. The notice said now it's difficult to purchase new crops, so it will adjust prices every day. In China, the price of corn has reached a 4-year high to nearly $400 per ton. That's about a $150 increase compared to previous years. Chinese state media claims that this year's summer grain output has reached an all-time high. It expects the whole year's output to break historical records. But the authorities have been ramping up imports of grains. According to Chinese media report, 43 rice exporting companies in Myanmar were recently granted permission by Chinese officials to export rice to China, while Reuters reported that the regime is discussing permits for millions of tons of additional corn imports over the next year. The report says this may drive up global prices of corn and other grains.
7 earthquakes rocked a Chinese county in 5 days. The week before, the same area hit by 5 quakes. Locals are raising concerns about what the events could mean for the future. NTD's Tiffany Meyer brings us more.
Now we turn to China's Xinjiang region. Authorities there are mass testing nearly 5 million people. This after a sudden spike in Chinese Communist Party or CCP virus cases. What's unusual about this spike is its rapidly increasing numbers. Last Saturday, the city Kashgar in Xinjiang reported 1 asymptomatic case. That number climbed to over 100 overnight and is still on the rise. NTD can't independently verify these numbers. Chinese authorities have been known to underreport confirmed virus cases in recent months. That's according to internal documents obtained by NTD. Kashgar is located in western Xinjiang. The region is part of China's northwest and is home to 11 million members of the Uyghur ethnic group. The same day authorities reported 1 asymptomatic case there, local airports canceled a number of flights. Internet users soon began posting videos saying the city was put under semi-lockdown and that outside visitors are forbidden from entering. In response to the outbreak, local authorities announced the highest emergency response levels. Schools are shuttered and nearly 5 million residents have to undergo mass testing within 4 days. It comes after Xinjiang endured an outbreak 3 months ago, which put the region under a 2-month lockdown. Authorities haven't been able to pinpoint the source of either of the outbreaks. Now we look to Beichuan County in China's southwestern Sichuan province. That's where 7 earthquakes struck within a mere 5 days. And just last week, the same area endured 5 quakes over the course of 3 consecutive days. According to the China Earthquake Network Center, the 5 quakes shook the region from last Wednesday to Sunday. All of them measured in between magnitudes 3 and 4.7. Data shows that the magnitude of the quakes was relatively low, but all of them occurred very close to the Earth's surface. The deepest of them struck 12 miles below ground level. The shallowest was just 7 miles. Known as shallow earthquakes, this variety typically has a much longer impact than those occurring deeper under the surface. One resident in Chengdu City reported feeling the effects of the quake on Sunday. Chengdu is located about 100 miles away from the earthquake center. Some netizens expressed their concern on Chinese social media following the events. They noted that the smaller consecutive earthquakes could be precursors to a major one. Earlier this month, another local reported that the water inside the well near her home suddenly became extremely hot with no visible cause. Locals suspected that the heated groundwater could be another earthquake precursor, but authorities denied the speculation. Back in 2008, the same area was among those severely damaged by what's known as the Great Sichuan earthquake. Clocking it at magnitude 8, the quake left around 90,000 dead. That's according to official figures. Some locals have questioned the data, suspected it of being hugely underreported. They estimate the disaster killed about 300,000.
Even for those with a lifetime of training, Daredevil stunts are extremely dangerous. A British veteran attempted to set a record for the highest free jump from an aircraft.
A former British paratrooper nicknamed the Flying Fish attempted to set a new world record on Monday. He jumped into the sea from a helicopter without a parachute from over 130 feet in the air. 34-year-old John Bream hurled himself towards the waves to set the record for the highest free jump from an aircraft. A safety team with divers waited as Bream fell towards the water off the southern coast of England. According to the BBC, support divers said he was briefly unconscious when he hit the water and was taken to hospital as a precaution. Bream spent 18 months training for the daring stunt. He did so in a bid to raise awareness of and help prevent veteran suicide, as well as to raise smiles during the CCP virus pandemic.
And another sign of good things brewing despite the global challenges this year. Disney's Animal Kingdom just became home to another baby white rhino. It's a welcome addition to a near-threatened endangered species. He doesn't have a name yet, but he's a very special little guy. Or a big guy, rather, 150 pounds big. Here he is hanging out with his mama, Kendi. He's the 11th white rhino calf born at Walt Disney World Resort. And he'll join the rest of his rhino crew on the theme park's Savannah in the coming weeks, where 2 more rhinos are expected to be born next year. So he'll even have playmates. A colorful display of northern lights lit up the sky above Finland's northern Lapland region on Sunday evening. The large swaths of green with streaks of white and purple shone through a layer of cloud cover over a village north of the Arctic Circle. The northern lights, also known as aurora borealis, happen when the Earth's gaseous particles collide with matter that comes from the sun. It jars the magnetosphere, releasing colorful streams into the sky.